You got to understand that your attributes here will determine the level that you can get a particular badge in each category. Hey, what's up, YouTube? You already know I'm AllCity with AllCityLiveTV.com, and today we're going to be talking about some additional information that we got about this leaked image from Ron Jesus' YouTube. This leak image displays what the new My Player builder is going to look like on NBA 2K21 for next gen. So there's some reasons that some people they're like questioning the validity of this actual image. And I wanted to kind of go over with you guys why they're questioning how valid this image actually is. A lot of people think that the image is fake solely because the steady shooter badge is now under the playmaking category. You gotta understand that playmaking has floor general, playmaking has dimer, and that's been that way for a little while now. Dimer has always been under playmaking, and we know that dimer helps shooters shoot. So with that same idea or concept in mind, that could very well mean the same for something like a steady shooter badge. First of all, we don't even know if these badges are gonna have the same functionality. As we learned in another image that we saw, is that takeovers are gonna have multiple abilities. Even though they have the same takeover icon, they're gonna have different abilities within that takeover that you can actually choose from. So takeovers are gonna be a little bit deceiving, and they're not gonna be exactly the same as current gen, or at least that's the idea that's being thrown out there with another leaked image that was released recently. So if we don't necessarily know if steady shooter under the playmaking category could be referenced to you giving the ability to the person you pass it to as the playmaker, similar to dimer, increasing your shot percentage, or floor general, increasing your offensive attributes, this particular badge that looks like steady shooter may be increasing your ability to shoot while contested, which in turn gives me as a playmaker an assist. So that's something to keep in mind. So when you hear people say that the validity, now I'm not saying that this is valid. I'm not trying to like vouch for this guy that I barely know, Ron Jesus YouTube. But what I am saying is, if 2K is rebuilding from the ground up, they may have reconsidered some of the badges that we're normally used to. And they could have easily put steady shooter as a playmaking badge so that I can get my assists more consistently if I make sure that my shooters are going to knock down their shots. Similar to how dimer increases your shot percentage, this badge that looks like steady shooter under the playmaking category could indeed increase your ability to shoot a bit more contested shots. And it may not operate the same way like we know steady shooter to operate. It may not operate in the sense that you get a penalty to open shots, but it's under the playmaking category now. Playmaker or ball handler is somewhat giving dead eye per se. They're giving dead eye to shooter out there that may be in the corner or at the hash or whatnot. So that's another thing to consider when questioning the validity of this actual image by Ron Jesus YouTube. If it is fake for whatever reason, they did a hell of a great job at creating this little image here. I don't know, man. It seems like a lot of work to create. We see a ton of new badges in the imagery, and we don't necessarily know how valid or what these badges are, how they're going to work. Even the badges that we're used to, we don't even know if they're going to work. Another big concept that we learned from this image, and something that I'm pretty sure Ron Jesus has mentioned as well, is that they're going to get rid of pie charts. No more pie charts. I even mentioned this in the live stream last night. I said, from this image, it looks like there's not going to be any more pie charts. If you could manually input your physicals, as you guys see on the bottom left there, if you're able to manually input your physicals and determine your speed, acceleration, your strength, vertical, and stamina, then you don't need pie charts anymore. Another thing to consider as far as like attribute pie charts is that it says at the right behind me, it says unlock badge points through gameplay to upgrade the badges in each category. Individual badges become available as you meet attribute requirements. So your badges become available as your attributes increase, and that could be another reason why they eliminate the attribute and physical pie charts. We're not gonna have these like the bar graph that we just increase your attributes, and your attributes will in turn determine which badges you have, and you now have the ability to manually input your physicals. That's an idea. We don't necessarily know if what we see up top, the top 4 categories in finishing, shooting, playmaking, and defense, we don't necessarily know if adjusting those automatically adjust your physicals. We don't know if that's a manual input or an automatic input as of yet. That's still yet to be determined. And listen, we got like we're only less than a month away. So if someone was to create, and we're not saying that this is not too far-fetched from the 2K community and some of the members of the 2K community to actually do, and creating a fake image like this, and creating an image that could possibly be fake, I should say, is not too far-fetched an idea to think that someone would do this. Man, it looks genuinely official. Another thing that I want to kind of touch base on that I didn't really go over in yesterday's video is that with each one of these, so let's say your driving layup is like really low, right? So if your driving layup is really low, like you see on the screen at the top left, then I'm gonna move my camera over so that you can see why Giant Slayer is on silver. Let me move my camera over so that you can kind of see. He has a really low layup, so his Giant Slayer badge only goes up to silver. The potential upgrade for that badge can only go up to silver. As he increases this particular attribute for Giant Slayer or for layups, then the potential to get Giant Slayer at a higher level is increased because he has better attributes, which allows him room for better badges. This is a concept I didn't explain in too much detail in yesterday's video, but I wanted to touch base on it in more detail in today's video. Let's go into the steal, see if we could understand the steal. There we go. So under his steal rating, and I thought this was going to be the case, his steal rating is here he got a 45 steal. So if you look at his defensive badges, his pickpocket and his interceptor badge is on silver. The potential upgrade for those two particular badges, which are steal badges, is the only attribute that's low on the left side that you see in the defensive attributes. Is the only attribute that's low. Everything else is maxed out, and those are the only badges that are set at silver: interceptor and pickpocket. So that's something to take note of. You gotta understand that your attributes here will determine the level that you can get a particular badge in each category. The whole new concept of getting badges and what level you're allowed to get these badges in NBA 2K21 Next Gen. If you enjoyed this content, found it helpful and or informative, please consider hitting that like button as it helps our channel grow tremendously. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, as we're gonna have a ton of NBA 2K21 content coming your way. I'll catch you guys on the next video.